Hello, Internet, and welcome to the free-to-play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com. Today, coming at you with episode 38. I'm your host, magicman. Got my friends on the line. We've got some games to talk about. We've got your bombs to get to, so let's get started. Back on the line. It's been a while. Real life has been a challenge in a world of computer failures. It's Selfius. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fantabulous. How's that for a superlative?
Wow, you're just making up words. Man, is it good to hear your voice, my friend.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I don't know what happened. The PC was on the fritz, and then real life, you know how it goes. You're busy making the monies.
Making the fat loots.
Right? But I'm excited tonight. I'm excited. Can't wait to get to our topics. And
we got some good ones.
Indeed.
And let's introduce our other host today. Also back from a little bit of a hiatus, but not nearly as long as Selfius's. It's that princess herself, Kaylin. How are you?
Doing great.
See, I called you a princess.
You did.
I say I was being kind to you.
I'm sick again, though, so I probably sound like a man.
That's all right. Some of the viewers say you sound like a man on every episode, so what are you going to do? It's your mic. We'll blame it on your mic. We got a couple games. You guys ready to go? Let's get started with the news.
Do it.
Let's do it. All right, first up today from Ubisoft. We got a trailer this week. We put it up on the website for the mighty quest for epic loot. Talk about a title, Kaylin.
Oh, yeah. I was intrigued from the second I heard the title.
It sounds unique. Let's see if the game is actually unique. So we watched the trailer, Selfius. I don't know about you, but the whole concept is everybody can build a castle and put things in the castle, traps and monsters and things like that, and then you can go to other people's castles and try to get to the treasure room to loot it while they're doing the same to yours. Seems a bit, two play modes, looting, defending, and a bit like a dungeon defender, huh?
Yeah, I'd have to say you nailed that right on the head.
It reminded me, like the traps and stuff, though, did remind me of like an Orcs Must Die. Have either of you played that one?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Orcs Must Die, just like it.
Just start throwing some traps down and have people running through them there. I will say this. I loved the trailer.
Oh, that was, honestly, I would say that is the best trailer I have ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it was hysterical. It had that, like, that Pixar-type animation, the characters looked like they were straight from the movie The Incredibles. That type of, the knight had the huge fat jaw, and his mother picture had the same type of format. So we saw the knight, we also know about the mage, and we saw the archer in the trailer as well. What did you think about the trailer, first off, Selfius?
Oh, the trailer had me on the floor. By the end of it, I was almost in tears. It's not too often that someone can pull off a trailer like that to get me intrigued. Like, they didn't show any of the gameplay.
No. None.
No gameplay. Now, usually you and I will argue about this to the end. To be like, how are you just going to, like, throw up a website and not have anything on it?
Right.
So I was after watching that, I was like, I have to play that. I mean, at first when I read the title, I was like, wow, they made a game after me, The Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. I feel like I've been playing this game for a while now.
Well, it seems like to me that the game's going to be one of those, the whole deal, the whole success of the game depends on the user-created content. And we've seen other games like that recently. We've seen trailers and things for Big Point's upcoming Game Globe title, which obviously from everything we've seen on their site, that game relies heavily on the user-created content. Looks like this game's going to follow in the same vein. How do you think that's going to do in a free-to-play market, though, Kaylin?
Honestly, I think this one will do good. I think as far as free-to-play, it's a good model for free-to-play, and I think another thing that really had me thinking that it would do well is the right off they say, like, the system requirements and everything else.
Yeah, and we don't see that a lot.
Between the type of game and mid-level gaming PC.
Yeah, you're right. They made a huge point Like it was like the first line in their presser. It was like mid-range gaming, and all of a sudden everybody was like, "Oh, I have a crappy computer. Let me see."
I think I think it's one of those games where, someone made a comment on, I think it was on the video on MMO Bomb, about how you could set everything up and just, not be playing and log back into a pile of bodies in your castle.
Yeah, and what was cool on the website, they show that if people are running your castle and dying in there, you're actually benefiting in some way from their deaths inside your castle while you're not there.
Yeah, it's one of those that, if you got some time, you set everything up, get it going, and let it be, and it kind of plays itself while you're gone, too.
I kind of give Ubisoft a lot of credit here. I'm a fan of Ghost Recon, the free-to-play title. Selfius, you're a fan of that game as well.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of people that don't like that particular game, and I don't know if it has a lot to do with, there's people that like the run-and-gun first-person shooters, where I'm much more of a, move forward, camp, progressive, teamwork type thing. That's just more my style. I think when I first saw the mighty quest for epic loot, immediately I thought, Dungeon Defenders, Orcs Must Die, those types of games. And I said, okay, well, they're not really doing anything new here. It's just from a company that's slowly dipping into the free-to-play market. And I still don't think there's anything really, really, really new here. But if they can pull off the game to have the same feel as the trailer, I think they've got something really, really good here.
Yep, that was when I watched it. That was one of my first thoughts, was if the game, it feels and plays like the trailer leads you to believe, people are going to love it. They're going to eat it up.
Now, Selfius, one of the things you and I talked about, though, is this really does lend itself to being a bit abusing on the cash shop, shall we say?
We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. It could be in-game currency, but I mean, as a free-to-play, we do know that it's bottom line. It's make a couple bucks, but like we were talking about, whenever he was talking about, decorating the halls and putting stuff on the walls as the things popped up.
They had the damn price tags.
Yeah, it had the price tags underneath it as it was popping up. And I was like, is that in-game currency or is that real money currency? So we'll see. I mean, it could be like some of the games that we talk about where it's like, we're scared in the beginnings. We're like, oh, it might be cash shop heavy. I mean, later on, who knows? You might be just given stuff as you level up or through different achievements. Like say, you've killed 50 different knights inside your castle within a day. So, you get like a knight's head mantle or something for an achievement, just something random like that. So, I mean, just like, I really think it's going to take off.
I think this one, though, has a bit of a challenge that a lot of free-to-play games don't have. I mean, we constantly talk about the pay-to-win versus free-to-play, and I don't think that this game's going to come anywhere near pay-to-win, obviously.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
But I do think, with those types of things you can add to your castle, add these traps, add this decor, add this, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. It
adds up.
Yeah, they're going to have a system in place. In my opinion, they've got to have a system in place that not only allows you to get those items free through gameplay or cash shop, but I don't think that... Let's go back to Alads for a minute, okay? I've always said that I don't consider Alads pay to win, although a lot of people do because of the whole endgame rune system.
Right.
My point has been you can get the runes elsewhere, auction house, buy them off other players. I will be also the first to admit, though, that you're going to farm gold for quite some time to do so.
Right.
I don't think this game can succeed if the grind to get free things for your castle is anywhere near as long as something like Alads is.
Well, it might not be.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. They're going to have to balance this. They can't do what Alads does, or this game's done.
Oh, right.
I just think they have a bit more of a challenge as far as balancing free versus money than some other free-to-play games do, because this all depends on you being able to build a cool castle that people are going to want to play. Well, to do that, you're going to need these items. And so people aren't rampaging your castle all the time. You're going to want better and better and better items and different types of items. And so if it becomes that grind fest where you either have to spend money or you're going to spend so much time playing it, people are just going to stop playing it.
Right. I was just thinking, like you were like just the counterpoint on that, where they was like, you can log off, set your castle up, log off, you come back, and you have all this stuff. So I mean, it just depends on how you accrue some of those items, and it depends on what rate that you whatever they give you, whether it's in-game currency or I mean, it just depends on how they work it, like you said. But I really do have high hopes for this game. The trailer was awesome. I hope everybody checks it out.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm gonna give this one. I'll go first this time. I'm gonna give this one thumbs up. I loved the trailer. I thought not only was it funny, but when it takes a very adult turn at the end, you can tell that the target audience isn't what you probably thought the target audience was at the beginning of the trailer. It has that real animated feel to it. So, okay, this is for kids and maybe teens, or maybe I'll pop into it every once in a while. But and then when it takes that turn for the dark at the end with some of the language, you're like, maybe the youngins weren't the audience that this was targeted for, like I thought. And I hope they carry that humor into the game itself. I'd like to see some like fun wild traps, fun deaths, that type of thing. Just ridiculous type content. I'm going to give this a huge thumbs up, hoping that Ubisoft can maintain the feel of the trailer in the game, and that they balance the shop. What about you, Kaylin?
I'm going to give it a thumbs up too. I like I said, I'd like to see what they do with the actual cash shop and stuff. But as far as the trailer goes, I think it looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Selfius?
Big thumbs up. 2 of them in the air.
All right. Way to go, Ubisoft. Nice job. So the mighty quest for epic loot, if you missed the trailer, head on over to mmobomb.com and watch that. It is definitely a must-watch, even if you have no intentions of playing the game. It's definitely a few minutes worth of laughs, so check it out.
And I really think you got to go to the site, too, and read the stuff that they wrote, the descriptions and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious. I mean, everything about it right now is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, their website is very humorous as well. There's also like misspellings that I'm not sure how to spell this. They put different asides in parentheses. It's generally just fun right now, and we haven't even played the damn thing. So I hope they maintain that. It'll be good to see. What else? SevenCore. We've talked about this one before. Kaylin, I believe you were on the show, actually.
Yes,
we talked about SevenCore by G Potato. Now, at that time, we just had a trailer that had like kind of a sci-fi fantasy mix with mounts that you could ride that were also combat mounts. Now, the beta has started. It's open beta. We did a first look on it. I did the first look. It's on the site right now. So you guys now, let's get your opinions. I'm going to give mine last since I've obviously put some time into the game for the first look. We were kind of excited for this at the time, Kaylin. Are you still excited? Have you played it at all? What are your general thoughts? What are you thinking?
I've played it a little bit. I don't think it's a bad game. Don't get me wrong, but I think they're a little behind the curve. I think it's kind of a been there, done that type feel to me.
Why so?
I don't feel that there's really a whole lot that I'm saying that's really new to me that I haven't already done before through other games.
Right.
I don't see that they have any kind of niche where you really have to play because...
But you're a huge PvP girl. What about guild PvP? I know you hate PvP.
I was like, are you sure you're talking to the right person?
No, I know you hate it. I'm being facetious.
Didn't even try it. Honestly, PvP just makes me so angry. It raises my blood pressure. I just don't do it anymore. But
what about you, Self? Oh,
not
sorry,
a
go
bad
ahead.
game, but
What about you, Selfius?
Oh, for SevenCore?
Yeah.
I haven't got a chance to touch it, of course, between PC troubles and the quest for my epic loots. But I have checked out the first look and the trailer, and it doesn't look too bad. I wouldn't mind trying it, but I don't know if it's going to be another one of those been there, done that. It's going to be one of those install, play for a day, uninstall. So
Yeah.
I just
that's my feeling.
I'm on the fence until I actually get a little bit of play time on it. I can't give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, so I'm sort of on the fence right now.
And Kaylin was on the show. I really wanted to like SevenCore. And Kaylin and I were very positive. We kind of liked the idea of, and other games have done it, obviously. SevenCore wasn't the first, but we liked the idea of a fantasy and modern technology type mix. We like the ideas of the mounts playing more integral roles. We like that in some other games. And we were generally pretty positive about the game at that time and looking forward to it. I've spent a lot of time in the game. Kaylin, I absolutely 100% have to agree with you. This game should have come out a few years ago. The control scheme is standard, run-of-the-mill, WASD, hotbar, tab targeting. You can be at some absurd angles and still hit your target. And then I showed that in some of the combat on the first look where, I mean, it has to be directly behind you for it to be out of line of sight. Don't expect any action-type combat. It's very World of Warcraft 6 years ago. You know, that type of control scheme, that type of combat scheme. The mount thing was cool for the first couple of times, but then it was just a standard pet, you know. It's not a bad game. I don't want to give that impression at all. And I'm sorry if I do, because it isn't a bad game. If you're a huge World of Warcraft fan and you just don't want to pay for World of Warcraft anymore, but you want to play something similar to that style of game, you could do a hell of a lot worse than playing SevenCore.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if that's what you like, more power to you. Download it, check it out. I did have fun with it until about level 35. At that point, the game became such a quest grind and I like quest grinds. I hate mob grinds. I love a good quest grind. I'm all for it. But it became such a quest grind to level that I didn't want to play it anymore. It was just ridiculous lengths of time when you get up around 40. And the level cap, I mean, in the beta at that time, it was 60. There were talks of whether it was 90, whether it was 100. It's a very high level cap is the point. And once you get to about 40, it's just, well, I'm going to spend a week questing to gain my next level. So I think it's definitely one where you're going to want to buy experience boosters all the time. Even if you're not getting them in-game enough, then you're probably going to want to buy them. All in all, I got to give it a thumbs down, but that's only from me because I look for something a bit more in games now than I did 5 or 6 years ago. If this was 5 or 6 years ago, though, I would probably be giving this a big thumbs up as a WoW alternative. At the time, 5, 6 years ago. What about you, Kaylin? Am I way off base here?
No, I agree.
I'm trying not to sound negative because it's not
it's not
bad.
a bad game. It's really not. It's just there's nothing that really sets it apart from anything else at this point. There's nothing that I found. It was just kind of like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I see they did that. Or, you know, when you're playing and you can see, well, they you know, well, this game came out with that feature 3 years ago. You know, it just feels a little behind the curve to me, but not bad. I mean, I don't consider it a waste of time.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, there's going to be a player base for this. I don't think it's like Warren's story that as soon as I played it, I was like, oh, good grief, who the hell is going to play this? I could definitely see that there's going to be people that want to play SevenCore. There was something weird, though, that I wanted to look up here. Why don't we get Selfius, your opinion on this? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Now, you haven't really played it yet, but we've talked about this an awful lot. Where are you on this whole scheme?
Like I said, I'm still on the fan. I do, like, after hearing you guys, like, I did watch it. Just from the video I watched, I did get that feeling. It was just like, okay, I've seen that in this game, and okay, I've seen that in this game, and like, I think they took all the different models that work in different games and tried to throw them together, which I'm all for. All for, but I like a little innovation, and I think we've talked about that numerous times, that if, like, I'll play a game, I'll play your game. I'll play your game for 3 to 6 months, whatever the time sink may be. But if you don't do something to keep me interested and on my edge of my seat, and it's just like you said, where it's just a grind, I'm not going to log in to do that and go, okay, all right, I spent, just like you said, all right, I spent, X amount of time doing this, and I'm only at, but of course it's a double-edged sword. To me, on the other end, I'm not in a hurry to level sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't want to run to endgame like DC Online, where it's like within 6 hours of playing the game, you're already level capped and ready to start raiding. So I want some playtime out of it. I want a little innovation. And from the video that I saw, it was just it's very cookie cutter, but it doesn't look bad. The models weren't bad. They look a little dated.
Yeah,
I agree. I wouldn't say 6, maybe 3, maybe 3. Maybe the gameplay is 6, but I would go with the models of maybe 3 years ago. Not too bad.
Yeah, I could see that. I would kind of say that if you watched the trailer, or if you watched my first look on MMO Bomb, and you're mildly interested in it, or you think there's aspects of it that you may like, I would say definitely give it a try. It's not one that I would tell you to just walk away from. If you watch the trailer or the first look and you think, I kind of like that sci-fi fantasy type thing, then hey, download it, give it a try. You got nothing to lose. It's free anyway, except a little bit of time.
I agree. I think it's worth a try, and I don't see anybody walking away from it going, oh God, that was a total waste of my time.
Yeah.
It's one of those, okay, well, it was kind of cool. It's not something I'm going to play long term, but it's worth checking out.
Yeah. There's one thing that's confusing the hell out of me, though, for our European friends, and we know that there are many of you. We love you all. The European servers are only in French and German. So does everybody in Europe speak French and German then? Is that it? I was not aware of this.
Yeah, I'm guessing like Spanish and Italian people just don't play games.
Yeah, or an English version, hell. Yeah. Which means if you're an English speaker, and you don't speak French or German, then your butt's going to be playing on the U.S. servers.
You'd think they would have, just the way that Europe is, almost every European person speaks English in addition to their native language, you'd think.
Because Europeans are just freaking awesome.
Yeah, I wish I was European.
I wish I could speak any language. I speak a little bit of French. I took French for 2 or 3 years. I speak a little bit of... I could go and order from a French menu at a cafe.
That's about how I am with Spanish. I get the gist of it.
Yeah, I just feel for our European brothers and sisters, man. What is up with that? Here's your 7-core service, French and German. What the...
Do you think it might have been a localization problem where they just couldn't get anyone to do the other languages? I mean,
just do it in English then.
I'm grasping at straws.
I know, you're really
like
grasping
the
at
US
straws.
where everybody just speaks one language.
Well, the U.S. isn't even like that anymore, for crying out loud.
Right?
Yeah, but the majority of Americans speak English, at least, and a lot of.
No,
but I'm saying
you've got Spanish
that's
in the
true.
United States to a pretty
higher.
high degree as well.
You'd think in Europe of all places, I think pretty much, I'd say 90% of Europeans speak English.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna make a game in Europe, and it's just gonna be in French and German. What do they speak in Portugal? That's probably Portuguese. Oh, how about Spain? That's probably
forget about them.
That's going to go ahead and be probably Spanish.
We're going to IP ban all of France too.
What about Italy? That's probably a little bit of Italian. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
A little bit
of Italian. A little bit of Italian
just
in
maybe.
Italy. Yeah. Not to mention the other 700 other languages throughout Europe.
Greece.
It's just French and German. Good luck. So if you want to play in English, U.S. servers, I have seen some European players on the North American servers. And from the ones I've talked to, they really haven't had any lag issues, so I hope that's a standard across the board for you English speakers. Otherwise, right now it's just French and German. Hope that changes sometime soon. So yeah, kind of mixed reviews on that one right now. So we're all pumped up about epic loots. We're all kind of about 7-core. Let's see if this last topic does anything for you guys. C9. We've talked about this many times.
Yes. I remember being given the option between 7-core and C9. Some
commenter
had asked which one
Continent of the Night Seal by Webzen. So this game only came out, what, a few months ago, Selfius?
Technically.
I don't remember. Well, yeah, it's yeah, technically. So it's already getting its first expansion called The Ruined Empire. And when we saw and caught word of this, both Selfius, you and I, we said the same thing. Saw that coming.
Right.
Saw that coming, that the expansions and the updates were going to have to happen quick for this game. We played in way early builds of this game during a press event. Then we played in some betas. The Ruined Empire expansion is in beta now. As of this recording, there are still keys available on MMO Bomb if you want to check it out. They come with a level 50 character so that you can run around in the new stuff. So the game came to official release a few months ago, already getting new content, a new zone, new dungeons, a new class, the Reaperess, a level cap increase, which is the one that I saw coming right away, and Selfius, you too, from 50 to 57, new skills, and like we said, we're not surprised. Why?
It was needed.
Yeah, I mean, we leveled fast.
Well, it was the whole instance thing. It's like, okay, I feel like I keep looking at the same zone repeatedly. I like the fact they added another class. New dungeons definitely needed to be added. Here's a question for you, Magic Man, and I know you might have to dig a little deep for this one. Do you remember the reasoning we got for the goofy level capping? Remember we talked about that before, where it's going from 50 to 57? You remember
that was back in with Alids. With Alids' level or expansion, Game of Gods.
Right.
It was an odd level cap jump.
Do you remember what the reason was?
Now, again, we can't apply this to Webzen, totally different company, but the reasoning that they gave us at that time was that, remember, the client, the original game client itself, is developed out east and comes to North America later in different increments. So the North American servers don't have the exact same things that are east in Europe and Russia and those areas at the same time. So while they may get a content patch that's 10 levels, the United States, North America may only pick up the first of that sequence of 3 patches, and then you end up with 57 being the cap until the second patch comes and the third patch comes. That was the reasoning for Alids. In the Game of Gods expansion.
Now, I agree we can't apply it to Webzen because it's two totally different companies, but do you think that might be somewhere in the same realm as saying how C9's been on a little while overseas?
I could definitely see that. I mean, you've got a Korea development-based game, and then a Korean development-based game, and then being released in Europe and the North America, United States areas. I could definitely see that maybe that's cause for some odd level caps. But, I mean, the level caps had to go up. We leveled so damn fast in that game. I even wrote an article way back when, and that was one of the things that I put in the article was my keys to C9's success, where the GMs needed and the community managers needed to maintain the level of interactivity that they had during the beta tests.
Oh, that was ridiculous. I've never touched a game before where the GM and the community managers just absolutely bent over backwards to make sure that you absolutely loved their game and they got as much information out of you as possible to make that game better.
Yep. That was my first key to their success. The second was the cash shop, and that the cash shop had to be well done, which we didn't have a ton of details at the time we did the initial first looks.
Right.
And then my third, in my article of keys to success here for C9, the third was content expansions are going to have to happen at a very quick rate because of how fast you can level and tear through the content as it's provided. So I'm glad to see that the Ruined Empire is coming soon. It makes total sense to me. I'm glad the game's getting bigger. I still play the game. I'm going to admit not as often as I would like to, simply because I have to play 900 other things at the same time. What about you, Kaylin? Are you still a fan of C9?
Yeah, I am, and I give them, this is exactly what they need to do and continue doing to keep interest in the game. So
it's got to be a real big plus for the players, huh? I mean, they've got to love seeing that this is how fast the content's going to come out. This isn't just like a little update. They're labeling this the first expansion. This isn't a little patch. I mean, that you got to be happy if you're a player and you see that, huh?
Oh, definitely. I think, like you said, it all went so fast, and then you're just like, what now? That's the feeling I got from it. It was like a very good pace. I almost think too quick. But then you get all the way to max level, and you're just like, there's just nothing. What do we do now?
That's funny. We talk about SevenCore, and we're like, oh, you hit 40, and you got to do so many quests. And then C9, we're like, whoa, brakes, little buddy. Put the brakes on.
I think if they can keep rolling, I liked the pace of it if they do continue to roll out expansions like this.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, if they keep on this type of pace. I mean, we've seen this type of pace from some pay-to-play games, right? We've seen Rift.
Oh, yeah.
Rift constantly getting updates from Try-On Worlds. Just boom, update. And new content. But you don't really see that type of aggressive development schedule from too many free-to-play games, right, Selfius?
All right.
So it's nice to see. I'm a fan.
See, and I like the pace of the game. I think, because when you think about it, there's games where, like we were talking about SevenCore, it's so slow. And, they could have broken it down, changed the level cap, made things feel longer. I think that quicker pace and those quicker expansions and everything are what's going to keep their player base coming back. Is there's just always, it goes quick, there's always something new, something interesting. It just doesn't feel stale if they keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with SevenCore. If the level cap wasn't 270 or whatever the hell it is now, you wouldn't feel. I don't think you'd feel nearly as grindy at 40 as quest grindy at 40, knowing you still had like 60 to 70 levels to go. Where if the level cap was 60, then you start. Okay, yeah, it's grindy, but I'm almost there. C9, it was just. Boot it up, play it for a couple of hours, hope you don't run out of stamina, and you're moving quick. A new class is cool. I'm all in favor of it. WebZen, big thumbs up. If you're a C9 fan, this is a no-brainer for you, and you've got to be happy to see this. I know there's some people that are still disappointed with PvP in C9, huh, Selfius?
Not me. I'm good, thanks.
Well, I give it the thumbs up. What about you, Self?
It's still on my desktop, still installed. It's one of the few games that I have not played and uninstalled. It's still there. I need to update it. New class added. I think that was a definite need. Yeah. Not saying that I think it was a balance issue. It's just some of the jobs on there are. I mean, actually, all the jobs are great. It seems like some jobs are a little bit more used, a little heavier. I mean, I don't want to point out certain jobs because I know what kind of flame fest is going to show up in the comments. But I'm excited. A new zone, new dungeons, new class. It was needed. Level cap increase. So I mean, clear across the board. Automatic thumbs up.
Kaylin?
I give it a thumbs up, too.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah, I've been giving it a thumbs up since day one, so they continue to do what they're doing. They're going to keep getting thumbs up from me.
Not a bad news section today. Thumbs up across the board, Matt across the board, and thumbs up across the board.
We haven't flamed anything this week, at least.
Yeah, we kind of lit SevenCore up a little bit, but then we stamped the flames out real quick.
Yeah.
We just set it to smolder.
We didn't get to the bombs yet.
That's true.
Bombs.
Well, gang, come on over, mmobomb.com. Check out the first looks for all the different games we've talked about today. Check out the trailer for Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. While you're there, we have a giveaway running right now for Hawken Alpha keys. We do not have a lot. I'm sorry, they're just not giving a lot out right now. And so we're running the giveaway a little differently than some of our normal giveaways. Please bear with us. As we can get them, we will give them to you. And right now, I think we only have about 10. So we're doing a little special giveaway, but check it out if you're looking for that mech combat game that releases December. There's a chance to get an alpha giveaway key. So let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. Selfius, you've been gone for a while. Let's start with you, brother.
All right. Before I ask, am I allowed to drop the date?
Drop a date?
Yes.
Oh, you may definitely drop a date.
Okay.
If it's for a topic that I think it's for.
It is. It is. I don't know if everyone's sitting down. I was excited about this. Hopefully everyone is sitting down. Marvel Heroes closed beta gets the bomb from me because it looks like it's not too far away, and I cannot wait. And even though it's dubbed as that, and everyone's fully aware, I got a little burnt out on Diablo, but I love the gameplay and the style for it, and I cannot wait to play this October 1st.
Right around the corner.
Right?
I think you're the only one that's like excited about it.
I was just gonna say.
I wasn't.
Like
I couldn't.
complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Oh yeah, and Havoc last week. Ugh.
I think my reason is because I'm so jaded. Like I was one of those comic book kids. Not too many kids are into comic books now because everything's digitized, video games. Like nobody really. I mean, not to take away from the people that go to Comic-Con. I don't want to. I'm sure I'm going to get flamed in comments for that. But I'm just saying, I remember going to the bookstore and actually purchasing numerous comics and running home and reading them. I've always been a huge Marvel fan, and I pushed and pushed and pushed, and you know how jaded I am when it comes to DC Online.
Yeah.
So I was like, please let Marvel do this properly, please. And I saw the screens and a couple other things that were going on with it. Flat out, you could tell it's Diablo, but just reskinned. But if you like Diablo, I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't super pumped for this. I couldn't have cared less. Kalen and I pretty much shared the same opinion. Then we interviewed David Brevik on last week's show, and Havoc kind of went off, but just a little bit. But that's all right, it's his opinion. But I was at least looking forward to playing this after talking to David for a little while. So yeah, October 1st, and just right around the corner.
All right.
Dub bomb from Selfius. What about you, Kalen?
Okay. You guys know how, I was very excited for Raiders.
Yeah.
For the beta. I looked forward to playing
Yeah, so was
it.
Havoc, but then he remembered he had a Mac. Sorry.
Ouch.
Burn. I was really excited it came out. I played it. I gave it a good try. I mean, I leveled one of every character at least to 15. Most, tried everything out a little bit. And I am just going to have to give them an A-bomb for their whole movement, interaction. It's so awkward. Everything is just so, they took, why fix what's not broken? Every other MMO you play, you move the same way. You interact the same way. And here it's like, the movement just felt really awkward. And then when you're fighting, you've got to sit there and dodge attacks and everything else. Well, you're sitting there trying to dodge, which is like shift and WAS or D. Well, you have to left click to keep attacking, and then you're trying to at the same time cast other spells, abilities, whatever. So you're sitting here doing trying to do 8 things at once, and it's just nothing is.
Let me ask you this then, and I don't mean to interrupt, but you're giving it an A-bomb for a large part of it being its control scheme?
Yes.
Okay, have you ever played other action combat-based games?
I have, and it wasn't just that, it was just everything about movement, the way you move with the mouse. It's, I don't know, I guess it's just, for me, it was just everything about the movement and even the interacting with the quest givers.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times I clicked on a quest giver, and all of a sudden I'm thrown an attack because that's not how you interact, or I'd be right clicking on things, and it was just very, very awkward, and to me at least.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Probably is.
You wouldn't want to touch Terra with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I really didn't have an issue with Raiders control scheme, and I think that's because I've played other action combat things. I've played Terra. I've played some of the more free-to-play instance-based ones. So I really didn't have a huge issue with it. I could definitely see how if it's your first time with that control scheme, it is awkward as hell at first.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I did play Terra a little bit, and I remember Terra being awkward, and it's been a while since I've played it. And the other thing is, it's just, to me, I mean, trying to be holding shift and, W, A, S, or D and using another finger on the numbers, that my hands just don't stretch like that.
I think Raiders for me was another game like SevenCore. I enjoy the game. It does some neat things. I just got bored with it.
Yeah.
That was my only gripe is,
I mean, I was really upset because I really wanted to like it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd get to like 20 with one of my characters, and I'd be like, oh, let me make another one. I really want to like this game. Now, I will add, though, to kind of give them some renewal, I got to hit things with a fish, man. And that fish just wrecked things. I got to pick up this giant fish and start swinging and just wrecked everything. So that was, if I could have just done that, honestly, just gone and randomly picked up fish and started clubbing things with it, I would have played the game for weeks.
I think the game's still going to do well. I mean, it's
it
a
will.
free-to-play alternative to something like Terra. It's action combat in an open, persistent world. I think the game's still going to do well. It doesn't do it quite for me, and it sounds like it's not quite doing it for you either, but I ultimately think the game is going to do well, because there's definitely an audience that is going to want to play that game for a long time. Maybe I'm nuts. I don't know.
No, I think it does definitely have an audience, and I don't know, maybe if I had some more time to play and get used to it, I'd end up liking it, but for right now, it's just like, oh, this is just so awkward to me.
Maybe you're just awful.
Maybe I am just awful. That could be it.
That's the prescription I'm going with. No, I have no idea. It was just fun to hit things with a tuna, though.
I like the tuna. That was the best part of the whole game.
I'm giving a dub-bomb for somebody that I don't think I've ever given a dub-bomb before, but I've given them plenty of A-bombs. I'm giving a dub-bomb this week to Sony Online Entertainment.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
You feeling okay?
I'm a little under the weather. That's why we'll get the show here. EverQuest 1 coming out with a new expansion soon, Reign of Fear. EverQuest 2 dropping another expansion, Chains of Eternity. So those things are coming up soon. I'm not giving a dub bomb for those. I'm giving a dub bomb for what's also coming with that. The SOE, or Sony Online Entertainment Player Studio. So here's what you're able to do, gang. You're able to download sample geometry from actual objects that are in the game, and then you're going to get some art tools and some training on how to develop things, and you're going to be able to personalize items the way you want them as far as how they look and what they do, stuff like that. You're also going to have to give it a name, give it a description, tell SOE how you think your new item fits in the lore of the EverQuest storylines. And what Sony's going to do is they're going to have a team to review all your submissions. And if they really, really like one that Kaylin makes, they could take it and put it on the Sony Online Marketplace. And if it makes it to the Marketplace, Kaylin, what are you going to get for your trouble? You're going to get 40% of all the net amount that Sony receives from the sale of that item.
Oh, I think I found a new job.
Yeah, you are the graphic artist on the show here, so this is a job made in heaven for you here. So, Sony Online, or EverQuest, already has, the player-created dungeons and stuff, so it's nice to see them dipping more into this creativity stuff and dipping into the people that love the game are probably the best people to create things for it, and giving them a cut. I think 40%, I mean, it sounds good. I think it should probably be 50-50 myself, because, Sony doesn't have to do any work here. Besides, look at it and make sure they're not putting like genitalia in the game. I mean, that's really the only thing Sony has to moderate.
There's a few people I imagine will try that.
Havoc.
Yeah.
But Selfius, you brought up an interesting point here that before the show you said, looks like Sony's getting lazy.
Yeah.
Did I say that? Did I say that? I didn't say that.
They can fire some of their own designers.
Right? I think it's cool.
I think it's a cool idea.
And again, it's not something we haven't seen. I mean, Second Life and other games have done this type of monetization and kick back to the player type stuff. but I think it's really cool to see it from a company as big as Sony.
Oh, yeah.
So John Smedley, he's the president of SOE. He said, at SOE, we believe everyone is a gamer at heart, and our goal with Players Studio is to provide a platform on which our players can further explore their inner gamer. Sounds like an illness. They can explore their inner gamer while showcasing their passion for the games they love. We're looking forward to seeing our players' creativity come to life in an entirely new way. I want to work for Sony Online Entertainment moderating this. I want to get all the samples just so I can send the emails that go, okay, you made a giant penis sword. No, we're not putting this in the game.
Magic Man, you just gave me a great idea. I'm calling off work tomorrow, and that's going to be my excuse. Man, I got that inner gamer. I can't come in, man.
I got a bad case of inner gamer. So, Dub Bomb for Sony Online Entertainment. Enjoy it, my friends. You don't get it that often from me. So, see, I'm not always a grumpy SOB.
Oh.
Okay.
What do we got from the viewers here? Happy Lunchbox says, I'm going to drop a new bomb. F-bomb to Area Games. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Happy Lunchbox. That is not a new bomb. We have had viewers submit that one already. We only acknowledge 2. Dub-bomb for something great in free-to-play gaming that you love. A-bomb for something you hate. But why F-bomb to Area Games? Well, Happy Lunchbox says they deserve it. Close down Repulse because they didn't get much money. That's what they get for adding an AK-47, which is not sci-fi, making it overpowered like most shooters do with AK-47s, and adding an AP value for it. So Happy Lunchbox not happy about Repulse getting shut down because of the old AK-47. Last week we talked there were a couple bombs from viewers about Pando Media Booster. The Augur chimes in on that and says, I agree about Pando Media Booster. I hate that shit. Remove it as soon as it's finished downloading. Add a comma. Oh, I hate this one. A comma night. I can't talk today.
Remix.
A comma net session interface too. Publishers need to stop requiring us to add this crap in order to download the client. I kind of get it. I mean, they're using it so that it's kind of a cheap way to torrent something.
Right.
But those programs are annoying as hell.
Yes.
And if you play any game that uses Pando Media Booster and then all of a sudden your computer runs slow, it's because you need to remove that crap.
Right.
Because you're feeding and you don't even know it. So yeah, pay attention, gang. If your computer's slowing down after you download something, check for those other programs that were used to download it. Totally agree with you. The Augur couldn't be more right. What's next there, Selfius?
Let's see. Let's see. We got the True Green Crayon. Says
That's
first
a
I have to
great
give.
name.
Okay, you gave an A bomb to me for just realizing that FTPC was up. Now I must watch it at 2 a.m.
True Green Crayon giving himself an A-bomb. Him or herself the A-bomb.
Hey, yeah, you get dub bomb for it. If you're staying up at 2 to watch it, 2 thumbs up.
Yep, we love you for it.
Definitely
we love
do.
you for it. Thank you so much. Basque says, first I have to give a dub bomb to Marvel Heroes. Another one. For reminding me that I still have Diablo 2 installed on my computer.
Whoops.
I called some friends up and we landed up all night. As for PlanetSide 2, I wasn't really following it until I saw Total Biscuit's gameplay footage. Now I can't wait for it. Here's hoping it runs on my rather dated rig. That was in response to last week's question of the week was, now some of you have played PlanetSide 2 or been watching videos, and the NDA is now lifted. What do you think? Does it live up to the insane hype it's been getting? Why or why not? Who's next? Mega crappy username. Mega crappy username says a big fat steamy A-bomb for Pando Media Booster. I'm tired of it too. As for dub bombs, I have 2. The first for Guild Wars 2 because it's such a smooth game. Fine example of great development, and I believe it does live up to the hype. Second, PlanetSide 2 for being a first-person shooter different from all the room-based shooters. 100v100 alone would be epic. 1000 v 1000 would be mind-blowing. Looks truly epic. A bit skeptical about SOE being the publisher as far as the cash shop goes, but still looks good. I agree. Hi, Magic Man. Kirito here. I have a D-bomb for Shady for the amazing streams he does. Yeah, he does do some good streams. Check him out on his YouTube channel. And an A-bomb for Marvel Heroes producer for basically saying the game's Diablo clone. Well, he's the creator of Diablo, so I don't know. What do you want?
Buy this. It's like my other popular game.
What's that last one there, Kaylin?
This one is from Sebastian NG, and he says, I am giving Nexon the company an A-bomb for blocking different countries' IP. When Vindictus first came out, I was like, meh, another instance game. However, I realized that Vindictus Season 2 came out in Korea. It looks so badass, awesome characters and equipment, and I bet 100% Nexon's Vindictus is going to get that patch, will continue blocking a lot of people. I pray that Nexon don't get any more of these awesome games. They claim themselves that they are, quote, the best in free-to-play online games, but 99% of the free-to-play companies make their games global. They better not get the license for Dungeon Striker, Guns 2, Arcade, or even Blue Tears.
Well, we know what games Sebastian's interested in, huh?
Yeah,
IP blocks suck. And this is one of those topics where it's hard for... It's hard to realize what some other gamers go through because we're in the United States, and most games, you very rarely see an IP block for North America or the United States. But like South America has to go through a bunch of those. Europe has to go through a bunch of those. It's really, really, really hard to understand why companies do that. And sometimes, guys, there are legal reasons. You know, you got to be aware that sometimes it's because a game that they have made would conflict with a copyright in your country with another game, and so they can't do it. And for those situations, hey, I got to be on the company side and say, you know, keep yourself legal and everything. But there's some companies, and Nexon is one of them, that you don't even know why a lot of titles are IP blocked. I mean, they don't give you any reason, and I think that's just a horrible way to go about business, Selfius.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least let them know why.
Yeah, that way you can't speculate. You could just be like, this is ridiculous. This is why I'm upset.
There was, what was that? I can't even remember the one game we read.
Mythos.
It was
Mythos.
Mythos.
It was Mythos. Mythos Europe is when they first came up with it.
We read the list of countries that were IP blocked for that game. It was like 40 countries. Like, ridiculous.
It would have been better off just putting the ones that were available instead of the ones that weren't.
Oh, yeah, IP blocks suck, gang. Sorry. Question of the week last week. Again, you played PlanetSide 2. You've been watching videos. NDA's gone. What do you think? Does it live up to the hype? Edge Damadred says, for question of the week, I'd actually have to say PlanetSide 2 surpasses the hype. While I was aware of the previous PlanetSide game, it didn't make much of an impact on me when it released. However, after seeing several videos for it, thanks in huge part to Total Biscuit using it for his mailbox videos, I'm now super excited for it, and I'm even starting to look more forward to it than MechWarrior Online, which I'm currently in the closed beta for. I don't think you're allowed to say that, Edge. But Edge thinks PlanetSide 2 surpasses the hype. Who's up next, Selfius?
All right, this is from Trance22355, and it says, weekly question. After watching PlanetSide 2 closed beta video, I wanted to play it badly, and it saddens me that I can't play it now. I was amazed. That makes sense. I was amazed when I saw the part where Spunkfy entered Galaxy and Battlefield. Looks like it's real, just totally mind-blowing. P.S. I love long shows.
Well, Trance got your fill last week with an hour and 17, almost 18 minutes. So everybody seems to like this. I don't even... Can which one of us can pronounce this next name? Kaylin, maybe you?
Oh, I'll give it a try.
All right.
I have no idea.
I'd say Vinicus Pies.
Pies? 12?
Yeah.
Sure.
And he says, about PlanetSide 2, yeah, it can be the best free online shooter you can find, and I'm interested in this game because it reminds me of the time I played Battlefield 2142 because of the intensity, all of the vehicles you can imagine, even the armor vehicle. But if the people behind this make this game pay to win or pay to enjoy, by that I mean super weapons and upgrades you can only have by spending real money and that you have to spend to just get a little stronger, this game will just be one more to try and never play again.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. I think, Selfius, you're in that same boat.
Oh, I've always been in that boat.
The one noob says so much hate towards something that some people enjoy. I actually had a lot more fun in Raiders than I'm having in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah. I haven't even played Guild Wars 2. But
I almost fell out of the chair.
I'm just trying to read, and all of a sudden I hear both of you hyperventilating.
Incoming flame war.
I wouldn't hate on PlanetSide 2 because it's a first-person PvP shooter. The gameplay looks good, but not enough to get me back into the FPS genre. Interesting take. Interesting take.
It is an interesting take.
I don't think was Havoc hating on Raiders last week? Is that what happened?
He was hating on.
I don't think we hated. I don't hate Raiders. Again, like I said earlier, it's a fun game, and there's definitely going to be a player base for it. It's just not. I got kind of bored with it. That's
not me.
Yeah. Mystica, my personal opinion, tended to side with Demina this episode, especially with Marvel Heroes. I have yet to give a dub-bomb or A-bomb, but even with videos of PlanetSide 2, I'm reserving my judgment about overhype until I get to play in the beta. I prefer not to judge games until having a test run. I do believe Guild Wars 2 may have been somewhat overhyped, not by ArenaNet, but by the fanboys and fangirls themselves. Great episode as always. Looking forward to next week. Well, thank you, Mystica, for the compliment on the show. I would agree with that. And I think I've said that on a couple shows before, that I don't even think Guild Wars 2 could live up to the hype that Guild Wars 2 had. There was incredible hype for that game. But it is so much damn fun. I'm sorry, did I say that? Did I say that? I'm going to ask you guys for your answers for the questions of the week that we're going to give away here, just because I want to get your take on it real quick before we sign off. Your question of the week next week, gang. Which pay-to-play game do you think will convert to free-to-play next? And I'm going to give you 3 choices, and I'm going to give each of you a little factoid about each of those 3 choices. So, Selfius, Kalen, you can choose from The Secret World, Terra, or Rift. Which pay-to-play game do you think will convert to free-to-play next? And I'm going to tell you, The Secret World recently announced they only had 200,000 in sales. And Funcom's a bit disappointed with that number. And they've announced their intention to refocus their future efforts on smaller games with less development time, which I read to be Facebook games and mobile games. Terra, on the other hand, is undergoing the dreaded server mergers. They're taking 11 servers and merging them down to 3. 1 PvP, 1 PvE, and 1 role-playing. And finally, Rift, who in November gets a brand new expansion, the Storm Legion, and there's actually quite a bit of hype for that from both Rift players, former Rift players, and people that have never played the game. And that's coming in November. So, Selfius, we'll start with you. Secret World, Terra, or Rift, which pay-to-play game goes free-to-play next? I mean, we have to assume eventually all of them will, right? I mean, that's just a foregone conclusion. Right. So which one goes first?
I'm going to go with the numbers game. I'm going to go ahead and say the Secret World. They're going to have to salvage those 200K, because if you do the percentages, we'll say a blockbuster game sells 1.5 million. How many subs do they actually keep? If you only sold 200K, you better do something real fast.
Yeah, not to mention that the game already has a cash shop in the damn thing.
Yeah.
And it's sub. Whatever. Kaylin, what about you?
Oh, as much as I would like it to be Rift, I agree with Selfius. I think it's going to be...
Are you a Rift fan?
I liked Rift, but not enough to pay for it.
So you just want it to be Rift so you can play for free.
Yeah.
like Aeon, like
The
Aeon.
Secret World. Okay, so that's 2 for the Secret World.
I know
I've got
your
it.
answer.
I gotta go the Secret World. I love the Secret World. I love the whole discovery stuff, and I love the storyline and everything. I hate the combat. That's my one big gripe with it. And I did make a statement on a show a few weeks ago that I was making the call Secret World, and this was before we knew any of these numbers or any of these Terra server mergers. I said the Secret World will go free to play before Terra does. So I got to stick with that at this point, especially after this information. Although merging from 11 servers to 3 says a lot about the size of your player base.
Yeah. I just think with Secret World, they need to find a way to make their money back.
Yeah. Not doing so hot there. So that's it. Your question of the week. Which pay-to-play game converts to free-to-play next, gang? Secret World, Terra, or Rift? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you leave your dub bombs, your A bombs, your weekly bombs there as well. Any questions you have for us as the hosts as well. You can come on over to mmobomb.com. Check out the show there. Leave your comments. Let's throw it around for the final word. Make sure you rate, comment, and like while you're there. Selfius, you're up first, buddy.
Hey, as always, I'd like to thank you for having me on, Magic Man. To the Bombers, I know I've been really busy. I'd love to jump on a little bit more, and I'd like to get active again. I was extremely excited to see that we hit our benchmark, and we threw up a video for that. So I want to thank everyone that continues to stay tuned. I would tell you to hit me up on Twitter, but that's pretty much a ghost town now. So, but if you guys want to shoot me something, you can hit me at the real Selfius on the Twitters, and hopefully I'll be on soon again.
Awesome. Kaylin, you're up.
Another fun show. Another great to be back from the little break.
Yay.
Second pretty much everything Selfius says. Thanks to everybody for helping us hit that milestone. And like he said, Twitter is a ghost town, but you can find me on Twitter at Kahlyn2. It's Kahlyn and the number 2.
Pretty sweet. Well, for Selfius and for Kaylin, I'm Magic Man. You can hit me on Twitter at MagicMan1. That's MAGICKMANN1. You can send me an email at magicman@mmobomb.com. We'll see you next week, gang, and until then, stay safe, and I'll see you on the servers.